Greetings, mortals, and welcome. Please present your tickets for validation. Thank you. Your existence has been acknowledged, and you have been granted access every Thursday and Friday. You will be accompanying your guides, Krista and Brandy, along with a world-renowned guest. They will be exploring an intriguing tendril of what humans refer to as reality each week, as they strive to advance you further down the path to the truths of your physical earth and what lies on the other side. Remember to please keep your hands and feet in the vehicle at all times, and do not exit until the craft has come to a complete stop.
Hey, hey, hey. Happy Friday.
It is Friday, isn't it?
Hey, Brandette.
Yeah, just call me Brandy.
Yeah, call you Brandy tonight.
I got my hair up in, what do you call it, a bun underneath my...
There you go. There you go. That's
It makes
fine.
for a long night after watching my Lions last night in a thriller.
Yeah. And how'd they do?
They won.
Well, good. Good deal.
Yes. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Do you see them for Super Bowl?
You know what? I think that we can make it. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we should have went last year, and this year we're even better.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I was up till 3:30 in the morning.
Wow.
Because after the game, of course, I had to go listen to all the radio shows and all the talk and the hoopla, you know. Then, of course, I'm sick, which didn't help because I didn't get hardly any sleep because I kept getting up in the middle of the night coughing.
Right.
You know, you're trying to fall asleep, and all of a sudden you got that. I mean, my stomach actually hurts from coughing so much.
Right. Oh, yeah, that's
so
awful.
I probably sound nasally.
You do.
Do I?
You do. Yeah. So
I got some. I went to the good old doctor. I always self-diagnose myself, like most guys, I think.
Yeah.
So I got cough medicine and Sudafed.
There you go. That works.
And I got a little quart of orange juice.
Yeah, and I would load up on the vitamins.
You know, I do take the vitamins every day.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm not much eating vegetables.
Yeah.
So I supplement that with vitamins.
There you go. That'll work.
You know.
However you can get them.
Yeah.
And
then the weather, you guys, we've had snow the last couple of days as well, which is weird.
Crappy
I mean,
weather.
Michigan, people say, well, Rob, it's Michigan, it should snow. But like I've told people before, where I live, it don't really snow until like January, February.
Yeah.
So I was surprised. So I got up to go buy the medicine, and I had like 3 inches of snow on the vehicle, and it was frozen.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I just started up and let it warm up, you know.
Right.
So I was not in the mood to go driving.
I like what Smurfy says. The cow eats the veggies. I eat the cow.
Yeah, well.
There you go. I agree with Smurfy. I like vegetables, though.
I guess I don't mind them. I just find them to be very boring.
Well, you got to cook them right.
Yeah, I guess.
You know, just saying. You just got to cook them right.
No, yeah, I mean, you can.
On them. Yeah.
Mix it up with some seasonings, you know, saute them up a little bit.
Yeah, I hear you. We, yeah, it's cold here. It's been cold here all week, and I just cannot get warmed up.
I'm not a teetotaler.
Mm-hmm.
I even got some green tea.
There you go.
Check this out, though. Somebody bought this for me.
Into the woods we go.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
And this is like, I mean, this is kind of deep. I mean, I don't know if you can tell. It's why it can fit a lot of.
Yeah, it looks like it.
In here.
That's cool.
It's very heavy. It's a nice one. It's
Yeah,
actually heavy.
Looks like it. Looks like a good one.
And that's hot too. Yeah. So
yeah. Diane asked, Krista, how did you come up with the name of your show, Blondes and Booze? Well, it started out. I used to have somebody named Erin Eck. She was used to be the co-host. She and I actually started Blondes together, and she went on to kind of do bigger, better things. She's actually moved out of state, the whole 9 yards, but that's another whole story. But we were just talking and decided to come up with the podcast, and then the name, literally, we were both blonde, and it was just a marketing tactic. That's it. We were both into ghost, and we were both blonde, so that's the truth. That's really how Blondes and Booze came about. That's it. And then we brought Brandy in, like, I don't know, it was only like 6 months after. So
Yeah. And,
and she was blonde, and we knew her, and she fit in, so it worked out great.
Yeah, and you're one of the few women I know that are all natural blondes. No, wait, you told me you're a redhead.
I'm redhead. Mm-hmm.
I could not imagine you with red hair.
Mm-hmm.
You got to have a picture, man. How long have you been blonde? For a long time now?
Oh, since I was probably 22, 23, something like that.
Geez, so okay, wow. So in high school, when you graduated high school, were you a redhead? Mm-hmm. I mean, you had red hair?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
Yep, I hadn't dyed my hair, none of that yet. Honestly, so it's really funny. My son, he's got a full beard, and his beard is my real hair color. True story.
Oh, wow. Now, how should I say? Well, red hair, it's not like fire engine red. Is it like orange red or like a cool?
It's not fire engine red.
It's like a brownish red type thing.
Yeah, it's a strawberry blonde.
Oh,
like it has some blonde, but it's a lot of red. I'll see if I can find a picture sometime.
That'd be cool. I'd like to check that out one day.
Yeah, because it was strawberry blonde. It was funny because just at Thanksgiving, I literally, my son's beard, like, we were looking, and my brother even said, "Oh, that's your old hair color." His beard. So my son's, he's got red hair.
Yeah, my beard's a little bit blonde.
Is it?
It went from brown to blonde somehow in a matter of years. Huh? Mm-hmm. So I kind of fit in.
Right. There you go. So yeah, anyway, that's it. That's how good old Blondes and Booze started. Hey, we have a conference coming up, don't we?
Oh, yeah, we do. Yeah.
We sure do. And we can talk about it more at the end of the show or something.
Yeah. Let's get a few more people in the room and listen later.
Yeah.
But I am excited about it because we're going to have a whole bunch of cool activities.
Yeah, we are.
Outside of the actual conference itself, it's going to be a lot of fun. Yep.
Well, and here's the thing too, like the ghost hunt is almost sold out, literally.
It's not. We haven't.
Did I text today? When I texted.
Yeah, 8 tickets left, 8 or 9 tickets.
8 tickets left. That's it. Yep.
And everybody listening, man, we put it's on Eventbrite, right? The ticket, the information, and
yeah.
I mean, we sold out half of them in 5 days, literally.
Yeah. Yep. And if anybody's interested, it's starred at the top up there for the conference. So Pancho got your tickets. Good deal.
Yeah, and so did a few people from the chat room.
Mickey G, Keith,
Mickey. So yeah, a few.
And there's others that, but I don't recognize their names. So
now that's pretty cool too. When you now, of course, people's handles or whatever the YouTube name isn't a lot of times their actual name.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So just an FYI, like when you guys come to the conference and you come up and you meet us, you got to tell us your YouTube name.
Yeah, you might say your name's Phil, and you actually might be Pancho Zorch. I mean, I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep. That's funny. That's too funny. But yeah. So anyway, it's all good.
I was interested at this. You know what this reminded me of when I was reading? I saw you title the show "Things That Make You Go Hum."
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's a couple things that popped in my head, which I'm not going to repeat, but one was the Rattle and Hum album from U2. That popped in my head. Wow. I think that's the only album I liked from them, I think.
Yeah.
Or Bloody Sunday or whatever that was.
Sunday, Bloody Sunday. I remember that song. Yeah, I do remember that song.
That was popular when I was in high school, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Yep, sure was. It's been a while, huh?
Yeah, it's been a while. I haven't heard that in a while, though.
So things that make you go, And I was thinking, like prophecies. Like there are some famous folk, both a long time ago and as recent as the 1900s, that have predicted some things that have happened, and Nostradamus being one of them. And so I thought maybe we could talk a little bit about some of those things, and because it make you think like, wow, and even as far back as like, I don't know if you've heard about even The Simpsons, the TV show.
I heard, yeah.
Like they predicted that Donald Trump would be president. They predicted that Disney would buy Fox.
That's right out of the cartoon show. They did, didn't
they? Yeah, and that was 20-something years ago. It was back in the late 90s, Like, how does that even happen? They predicted actually the Twin Towers on an episode I read where that episode was in 1997, and we all know Twin Towers was in 2001. So,
yeah, I mean, it makes you think, do you think there are people that can actually predict the future or can see into the future?
I do, because like, how do we explain some of these? How do we explain some of these? Because we're going to talk about some of these here. And I'll just start here real quick. We'll start with Nostradamus. He's like the one that everybody says, I think everybody's heard of.
Yeah.
And so Nostradamus, though, he based his predictions on astrology. So I didn't realize that he was into astrology at all. But that's how he came to his prophecies of talking about things. So like he has predicted so much stuff. So the first thing that I won't say it's the first thing, but the first thing we're going to talk about is significant climate changes. And it says Nostradamus is said to have predicted major climate upheavals this is what's coming up for 2025. His quatrains mention confused seasons and rising waters. Interpreters see this as a change of extreme weather events with record floods in some areas and unprecedented drought in others. These changes could have significant impacts on global agriculture and population movements. And it says, did you know that Nostradamus's predictions about climate change have often been linked to current global issues? For example, the rising waters could be interpreted as a reference by the increasing sea levels caused by global warming, which are already threatening coastal cities worldwide. So my 2 cents on that, honestly, like I remember when I was a kid, we used to get like a bunch of snow, like a couple foot of snow.
Yeah.
We don't get that anymore. Like our winters are getting warmer. And I've even heard you say, well, you don't even hardly get snow now in like December.
No, I mean, it's so funny that you even bring that up. And you lived in Missouri your whole life, correct?
Yeah.
And I've talked about this several times throughout the last couple of years. I remember as a little kid, it would start snowing like right after like Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember we had so much snow, and I lived in the same section of Michigan, the southern southeast portion of Michigan, and surrounded by the Great Lakes too. We get that lake effect snow, but I'm still further out from the lakes. But I remember as a kid, we got so much snow that we could build tunnels under the snow. We would build igloos, literally igloos and stuff like that. My buddy, his dad would always make an ice skating rink in his backyard.
Mm-hmm.
And now it doesn't stay cold enough where I live to even have a frozen pond.
So there you go.
Hell, you can't even build a nice looking snowman half the time around here.
Nope, here either. And you know what? Nemo says astrology is the first science. Astrologers made observations of stars, kept records, and made predictions on the movements of the planets and stars, but their conclusions were incorrect. Interesting. So, so that was one of them. And that one really kind of stuck out to me just because we here in Missouri don't have the winters like we used to. I don't feel like anyway.
We don't, but I will say that like this month has been weird because we've gotten a lot of snow already. However, also when you talked about the summer, I remember I worked for a pool company when I was a kid on the side, and when I was
Mhm.
growing up for part-time money in the summer,
Yeah.
we went through this stretch of and Michigan is hot, but it was always reasonable. It was like 80 degrees like in July,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
But ever since like the 90s, it literally is the 1990s, I should say. It's been
Right.
like once July hits, every day is 90 degrees,
Yeah.
which is kind
How it
of,
is here.
you know, kind of like Florida type weather. And we
Absolutely.
never used to be a humid state, but now it gets so humid that, it's tough. Some days it's even tough to
Hmm.
breathe.
Yeah, that's how it is here. Missouri's always been that way, though. Missouri's awful for the humidity. Awful, awful, awful for the humidity. So I don't know. I just thought that was interesting because I do see where that is actually kind of happening, you know,
Yep. And
some in our lifetime.
you talk about flooding and, the oceans are rising,
Hmm.
and even the Great Lakes,
Yeah,
Lake Michigan, Lake Michigan, Erie, Superior, their erosion along the shoreline, especially along like Lake Michigan.
yeah,
People bought, say, 20 years ago, they bought a beautiful home on Lake Michigan with a beautiful 100-foot, 200 feet of waterfront property,
right,
and their house is maybe several hundred feet off of the water line. And now they've lost half of their property because the erosion from the water is getting closer to their house, where some
yeah,
houses have literally fell into Lake Michigan.
exactly. Isn't that crazy?
That is nuts.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think there's a lot going on there. Let's see. The next one, some of the things that Nostradamus has predicted, and the election of Donald Trump as the 45th and the 47th president of the United States.
So I didn't
And
know that. Did they predict 45 and 47?
that's what it says. And the terrorist
Jeez.
attacks on September 11th, the assassination of John F. Kennedy, the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and the rise in the power of Hitler in the 1930s. Yeah, like the arrest of Louis the 16th, the French Revolution, the rise of Napoleon Bonaparte, and he also predicted Queen Elizabeth and her death in 2022.
I must say that's kind of scary.
I know, right?
Hmm.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Like,
and my thing is, if you look back, number one, I think it's kind of creepy, kind of eerie.
yeah,
And how do these people? I mean, I guess there really are people, or whoever these individuals are, man, that can look into the future. See,
hmm,
to me, we talk about these things a lot, and I get it, but
yeah,
until it's proven, I mean, that's kind of proof that somebody knew about these things prior. It just makes
right.
me wonder how they got the information.
Well, it says Nostradamus. He was into astrology, so it was.
Yeah, that's that one.
But I don't know. A lot of people thought, because I did read too that some of his things that he predicted on people, did not come true or
Yeah.
anything like that. So a lot of people thought he was a fraud. A lot of people thought he was a fake. A lot of people thought he was sinning because in the Bible,
Oh yeah.
supposed to, and
Yeah.
and a lot of people actually did believe him. So I guess
And
it just
actually,
means, yeah,
yeah, and even Nostradamus, I was reading some things that he had like thousands of these predictions of maybe only a small percentage, a small
right.
percent. So a lot of people suggested that maybe he was just throwing stuff out there at random and hoping one day some of them would hit.
Right. And it's also the interpretation of
Yeah.
some of his predictions, because like one of them, okay, so I'll read you one here. One of them was, and this one is talking about, they say was Hitler. So it says, from the depths of the west of Europe, a young child will be born to poor people, who by his tongue will seduce a great troop. His fame will increase towards the realm of the east. They say that's Hitler.
Yeah.
So he doesn't say a man named Hitler.
Yeah,
It's,
no.
You know, Lil Patty says Sandra Brown predicted COVID. I'm not familiar with Sandra Brown.
Isn't she one of the creators of one of the cartoons? I know that name from somewhere.
Keith says Baba Vanga had some pretty interesting predictions. So, and then Mr. Anderson, that's interesting too. Vision quests that predict the future can be done with extreme fasting, a potion with DMT or near-death experience, and those visions will give you answers beyond imagination.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, Smurfy, Sylvia Brown. Oh, gotcha. Maybe it was Sylvia Brown. I've heard of Sylvia Brown.
Okay.
But yeah, so I thought all of that was really quite interesting myself. So another one, that when I said about Queen Elizabeth, it says, according to the complete prophecies for the future book in which his visions were all prescribed, Nostradamus successfully predicted that Queen Elizabeth II would die around 2022 at the age of approximately 96. He also went on to reveal that Harry would be the one to take the throne after the abdication of Charles III, meaning Queen Elizabeth's death will cause major changes in the monarchy. The reason for Charles's future abdication would be, according to the predictions, his advanced age. As for William, the predictions evoke an incapacity that would send his brother on the throne until the young George is old enough to be king. So I find that interesting because, she's gone. So Prince Charles, or I guess he's King Charles now, I'm assuming.
Okay.
So he's got it. But then when he dies, I thought William was next in line. I thought Henry was out of it. So it'd be interesting to see if Nostradamus was right about this.
I think we're all going to have our figure on it. I mean, I definitely will. It'd be cool to write some of these down and remember these, especially ones that are supposed to take place in 2025, 2030. And who predicted, by the way, we're supposed to have the alien invasion a couple of days ago? Did you see that?
I'm not sure, but we all survived.
Yeah, we're all here.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it's crazy, isn't it?
It is, and it does amaze me in how even like Nostradamus came up with some of these things. There's some of these other ones, like a lot of times I'm not really big into. I mean, I guess I don't really read the Bible, but I guess I kind of don't mind it because there's a lot of history in there.
Right.
And there's a lot of prophecies that come right out of the Bible. Some that happen, and some that they predict in the future, which hasn't happened.
Yeah. Well, Sylvia Brown, I've heard, we've all seen Sylvia Brown on, I don't know if you remember the old Montel Williams TV show.
I remember
Montel. Go on Montel Williams all the time. And so I do remember her, but BJ says something, and I want to elaborate on what she says.
Okay.
So Sylvia Brown was proven to be a fake from what I have heard and read. So I agree with you, and this is why. So here in Missouri, back in, it's been a little while. There was a boy who came up missing. His name was Sean Hornbeck. And he was missing for many, many years. I'm talking 8 or 9 years. Just vanished, gone. Then Sylvia Brown came to the area where he was missing from and said that he was dead. She predicted he was dead and he was buried somewhere, this or that. Well, change of events. So another boy got kidnapped. His name was Ben Owenby from similar kind of same area. And that boy ended up escaping. Come to find out that the man that took them was named Michael Devlin. He took both boys. He took Sean Hornbeck and he took Ben Owenby. So Sean Hornbeck was found alive and well. This Michael Devlin had got into his head and made him where he didn't leave, like mentally corrupted him, which, a lot of child predators do, And so I agree with BJ on that because, she said that Sean Hornback died and he was found live and well. And apparently he's working in a factory today. So, yeah. Interesting, huh? You're on mute.
Yeah, this is really interesting. Yes, fascinating stuff. And even like I was saying earlier, there's a couple things that I found like that are kind of so we were just talking about climate change.
Mm-hmm.
It depends on, and people say, which I agree with a lot of people in chat, depends on your own interpretation. And you mentioned it too. But here is one. I just went online a little while ago. In the Bible, Revelation, they got the thing now, Revelation 11:18, foretold that mankind would be ruining the earth. They would do it in so many ways, not only through violent and corrupt actions, but also by bringing harm to our environment. So, you can look at that however you want. Global warming, you and I have talked about lasers being, we already know they're creating the rain, the clouds.
Yep.
They're creating so many things, and mankind might not think they're hurting the environment, but they are.
Yeah.
In a way, and I thought that was interesting. There's a breakdown of here's one breakdown of the family. This again is in the Bible. It says the Bible foretold that many people would have no natural affection for their family and that their children would be disobedient to parents. Well, I must tell you, I don't know about you. I know your children are cool, and most people here, but I come across a lot of things that we just watch on the news or hear about. Children don't really listen to their parents. In family life today, mom and dad's both work. When's the last time family sat down and had, when I was growing up, dinner time was at 5:00. Me and my dad, me and my brother, we sat around and had dinner at the table. That doesn't happen today. And Jason McLean was saying, even in school, they're dumbing down our kids. The history books that we read, 30 years ago is not the same history books that the kids are reading today.
Yeah. It's very true. I wholeheartedly believe that. Like my grown kids, like even to tell time on a regular clock, if it doesn't have the numbers, like kids can't even tell time.
No, they can't. I know.
And they can't write in cursive.
No. And they don't even want moms and dads tutoring their kids and helping them with their homework.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they make some of this homework so hard. You need to be a mad scientist to figure it out. I seen one of my buddy's kids' homework assignments. This is several years ago. I'm like, what in the hell is this?
Yeah.
And I'm reading through this, and this stuff that I was reading.
Yeah.
I had no idea what it was.
They can't even count cash back. Little twisted right. They can't count cash back, without a calculator.
No.
So true.
And now with the cell phone, every kid's got a cell phone. They don't have what time is it? Oh, let me look at my phone.
Yeah. Or they don't need calculators at school anymore. They got phones, Yeah. I don't know. I just think
it's so easy to cheat now in school.
Oh yeah.
All the answers are on your phone.
For everything. You Google anything. There it is. It comes up, and it's,
even going
sad.
And even going back with that statement I just read, it said in the Bible, technology ruining people. It's dumbing down people. You don't have to study anything. All you need to do is look it up. I remember when I went to college, I didn't have the internet. I'm an I'm back in the old school, right? So all my research papers I had to go to the library, actually pull books off the shelf, read them. Or we had that microfiche where that was I thought that was cool. You could pull up these slides of newspaper articles dating back to the 1950s and stuff like that. Make a copy of that, read that.
Right.
And then you had to write with your hand in a pen and paper and write out everything. And today, All these kids gotta do is sit. It would take me hours to do a research paper where a kid literally could do a research paper in under an hour, cut and paste. And what are they
Oh,
learning today?
yeah,
They're not
exactly.
learning anything today.
Yeah, it's very sad, really. I mean, because they're really not, and even like the new math, the core math, like I don't even get that. Like it goes way out of the way to how you and I were taught math, you know. It's just sad. It's truly, truly sad. It really is.
Yeah.
So the next one we can talk about.
Hang on one sec. I gotta go blow my. I'll be back in a second.
Okay, no problem. I don't know if you guys have heard of. Have you guys heard of Edward Casey or Edgar Casey? I'm sorry, I don't know why I said Edward, but Edgar Casey. He is another one that predicted a bunch of things. So anyway, here, let's see. You know, on to elaborate onto what Rob said about predicting, and it says, did Nostradamus predicted the end of the world? And it said that he is often said to have predicted the end of the world, but the exact date and details are unclear. Some interpretations suggest that he foresaw apocalyptic events. Others argue that his writings are too ambiguous to make a definitive claim. While some believe he predicted the end of the world in the distant future, others think his prophecies are more metaphorical, referring to the collapse of civilizations or major global changes. Exactly what you were saying.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
again, for me, it's still mind blowing that people.
it is.
You know, I mean, I guess I could say something today. I don't even know what. Maybe 30 years it comes true just by taking a wild guess.
Yeah.
But this guy hit on a lot. For as many as he missed, he was right on quite a bit of it. And I just found something really interesting here. See, I'm not a big Bible guy.
Mm-hmm.
And it says that of all the readings in the Bible, there's 2,500 prophecies in the Bible. That's interesting.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I saw something pretty interesting here.
Yeah. I don't know.
Oh, it says here, you know, I can see this. The Bible foretold that people would appear to worship God, but would not truly live by his standards. But I guess you could say that's true just about anybody.
Yeah. It all goes back that we're all sinners, you know?
Yeah, you know.
Yep.
Well, we're all born into sin, as they say.
Yeah. So Edgar Casey, another one. So he's from the early 1900s. So he predicted a lot of stuff too. So it says many of Edgar Casey's predictions have come true. He is known as the sleeping prophet, correctly predicted the stock market crash and the Great Depression of 1929, the beginning of World War II, and many earth changes of modern times. And then I've got a list here that we can go through and talk about. And it's some of the stuff even kind of similar to what Nostradamus predicted.
Okay.
But the first thing that Edgar Casey that I have down here, it says the greater portion of Europe will be changed in the twinkling of an eye. Japan will eventually go into the sea. Land will appear off the coast of America. Well, they say that California, they get a big earthquake, you know, it's gonna, you know, lose half of California. So maybe it's gonna happen. I don't know.
And what was that? It says that half of the land would fall into the sea.
Land will appear off the east coast of America. Japan will eventually go into the sea. Land will appear off the east coast of America.
Yeah.
So
okay. Well, you're right about that. I heard that they do predict that Southern California won't exist. And I don't know, maybe we might not be around to see that, but I can see that.
Yeah.
And their coastlines eroding away as well. The entire, it's weird. You know, we even have these polar shifts on the poles of the United States. You know that the axis that the Earth is spinning on,
Yeah.
every year it loses. I don't know. It's like, you know, less than millimeters
Well, that's one thing too. Yeah, that Casey predicted about that.
And
That's
you
the next
do
one.
know if it moves too much, we'll lose our gravitational pull, and the Earth could end up drifting off away from the sun or closer to the sun. Think about that one.
We all get cooked.
We get cooked, or we freeze to death.
Well, yeah,
Depending on which way we drift.
Yeah, that's true.
But the Earth is drifting.
Roger. I was going to say here, Roger says, didn't the Aztecs have a calendar that was supposed to predict the end of time and stuff? I think it was a Mayan calendar, but I do think you're right that they were supposed to. The end of the world was supposed to come, and I remember that it was like sometime in December of like 1990 something.
Yeah.
I don't remember, but yeah.
Well, do you remember back to Y2K was supposed to happen? And
nothing happened.
Something was supposed to happen, and everybody,
yeah,
was running for cover, or they were buying up canned goods and dry foods and stocking their basements. Some people were building underground shelters.
Yeah,
literally, they were.
Yep, exactly. So I don't know. It's just kind of weird. Well, here you were talking about like the shifting of the poles. So this here is a little bit long, but I'm going to go ahead and read it. It says
go ahead.
One thing that he predicted. It says there will be shifting of the poles so that there was once a cold climate will become warmer and the semi-tropical will become more tropical. Moss and ferns and new foliage will grow in places that seem strange to us now. Casey said, the earth is catching up with time. Edgar Casey described the concept of the shifting of the pole as a result of the crust of the earth moving independently from the core to bring a different surface area over the spin axis in the late 1920s and early 30s. This process has received more and more attention by geographists. He predicted that changes to Earth's surface would begin sometime in 1958 and 1998. The cause of the changes being the shift in the world's magnetic poles around the year 2000. Casey said that when this occurs, it would bring reversals in the world's climate. Where there had been a frigid or semi-tropical climate, there will be a more tropical one, and moss and more fern will grow. According to NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center, something changed in the Earth's gravitational field, which moved the magnetic poles closer together in 1998. This confirms Casey's prediction of pole shift.
Okay.
So he was right.
Yeah, absolutely. Because that's happening. Like I was just bringing up, I said, wow, that's so weird. And it's weird to think, though, that this has slowly happened over time, over years, thousands of years.
Right.
And
well, Casey wasn't that long ago. Casey was like 100 years ago.
100 years. So that's not long at all.
Yeah. Yes. So, and then, so I thought that was kind of interesting. And then he also talked about, I think he meant like an eclipse, but he said there also come a time when the sun will be darkened. This will signify a spiritually awakening event. I think that's an eclipse.
Yeah, probably. Because a lot of people view that as a spiritual event.
Mm-hmm.
The eclipse.
Yeah. Yep. Don't you? I mean, don't you? When you think that's what he kind of means there?
I think so. That's first thing that's what popped in my mind right off the top.
Me too. When I read that. Yep. So this here's kind of interesting. So the city of Atlantis will be found near Bimini. It will be discovered that there are healing powers in the waters off Bimini, and quartz crystals will be recognized for their healing properties to uplift, empower, and synchronize many types of energy, such as light and electricity. In 1938, Casey predicted that a portion of the temples may yet be discovered under the slime of ages and seawater near Bimini, expected in 68 or 69, not so far away. The Bimini Road was discovered in 1968, and Casey said it was the rising of Atlantis. Many people believe the Bimini Road is actually a portion of Atlantis, and Edgar Casey was correct in his prediction. So.
Yeah.
Interesting, isn't it?
Well, it's really fascinating that these people are spot on. A lot of them are spot on. And, you just can't say it's coincidence stuff. I mean, again, just going back to what you were talking about earlier, about the astrology with Nostradamus wouldn't that be, I wish I had that ability to look into the future, or maybe I wouldn't want
No, I wouldn't.
It might be kind of creepy, wouldn't it?
Yes, I think it would be too creepy. I would not want that. I would not want to know.
I would probably be paranoid for the rest of my life if I could look that far ahead.
Exactly.
Especially into our near future. Within our lifetime. I don't know what my future is for the next, 50 years or whatever, however long I live.
Yeah. So let's see here. Another one that he predicted. This hasn't happened yet, but New York State's East Coast and New York City itself will disappear. Edgar Cayce predicted that.
They also, I read something where there was a prediction on there will be a great famine and people will flock to their markets, buy up all the goods.
Toilet paper?
Yeah, and it also said they will turn an eye on they'll turn their head on their neighbor to satisfy their own sustainability. And if you think about it, that was weird. I mean, COVID hit, which was, it happened, right?
Yep.
And how everybody was just, people were not nice.
No, they weren't. They weren't.
They were not. They were hoarding up as much as they could, buying all the water. I mean,
it was
like,
awful.
You really do need 50 cases of water.
So did you follow the arrows at Walmart?
I went against the arrows.
I did too. I committed so many crimes in Walmart.
I
went down the wrong way.
I didn't. I wasn't a mask wearer either. No, I was anti-mask.
Yeah.
People would look at me, and I would cough on purpose. Really? I would. Because people, I would make fun. I mean, I don't care. People. I mean, everyone has a title their own opinion, but come on, really.
Yeah.
But I will say this. I know a lot of people were telling me that we're wearing masks. Forget COVID. They found that the year that they did wear masks out in public for a lot of times, it had nothing to do with COVID, but they did notice that they weren't sick all year because they weren't extracting any of these other germs. Now, I can buy that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But also, you could go live in a bubble too.
Yeah.
And I thought it was funny seeing people riding around the cars wearing masks.
Oh, yeah. In your car when you're by yourself, why would you have a mask on?
I hope I'm not offending anybody in chat or listening. I'm sorry. I'm not making fun. It's just, I just thought it was just a little extreme.
Yeah. And I
never caught it.
I get it. People to each their own. I mean, that's fine. I didn't have any problem with anybody else wearing them.
I'm not going to judge you if you wore a mask. I'm not. I'm just saying for me, it was like, I'm not one of these conformists. I went against the arrows in the Walmart.
Me too.
I didn't. Me too. And I'm kind of smart alecky anyways sometimes. And
and here's the thing, like I never dreamed in this lifetime like that I would actually see people wearing masks. And would you have thought that 10 years ago?
Never would have thought that. And it was funny because at 7-Eleven or any of these gas stations or convenience stores, back way before COVID, a lot of them had signs, especially a couple in the tougher neighborhoods. You masks not allowed because these were high crime areas where they get robbed all the time.
Yeah.
Do you know that just in a couple of the suburban neighborhoods around where I live, that during the times of wearing the mask, how crimes and theft in these party stores went up? Because everybody wore a mask and you couldn't identify people. Wow. Think about that for a minute,
People took advantage.
Yeah. And that's kind of one of the reasons why I was kind of against it in public. Because when I'm in a public area, I want to see the people's face I'm looking at.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm not thinking, because they're going to rob me or they're going to rip off a store. I feel more comfortable seeing your face. It's just like when I go in a restaurant or a bar, I always face the door. I never have my back to a door anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy. Don Morris says going into a bank wearing a mask. Yeah.
Yeah.
True
Come
story.
on. Yes.
Yeah. To each their own, I don't knock anybody who wears mask or did wear mask, whatever. It's just, I know what I did. And my thing, the only thing that I really did do is like the hand sanitizer. I did keep it in my car,
Oh.
and I still to this day, like, you know, if I pump gas, then I'll get back in my car and put that sanitizer on my hands. I'll still do that. But that just is, you know, about the only thing that I can say, like.
Well, I must say though, I mean, I've been using sanitizer way before then.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm kind of a germaphobe, I guess, if you want. I'm always putting that on.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I really wasn't. You know, I washed my hands.
did.
I washed my hands, but I never had nothing in my car, you know.
I don't know. Somebody taught me to do that a long time ago, and I always did have one in the car, and it just became a habit.
Yeah. Yep.
And then it was kind of, and now everywhere you go today, they're sitting, even today, they're still right at inside the stores. Even now they are.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And you know what? I have it like at work. I have them there on my desk at work. I have some hand sanitizer.
Excuse me.
Like, you know, if I use the restroom or, you know, open up the refrigerator there at work or something before I eat, I always come back and sanitize my hands.
Yeah.
Always. So I don't know. It's just, you know, when I think too, like the mask, they were so uncomfortable too. Like to breathe in them is like, oh, you know, I would always have them down here.
Yeah, which defeats the purpose, right? I did try a couple of them. I must say, I wore one once right in the very beginning. I was like, oh my God, yeah, you know, until I started kind of, you know, bucking the trend. I tried it a little bit. I'm not going to say I was totally without a mask. I did wear it in the beginning for a little bit, and I'm like, you know what? I'm not doing that. I'm just not doing this.
Yeah.
Unless they told me you can't come in without wearing it. And if I had to go in there, I put it on.
Mm-hmm.
So I did have a mask in my pocket.
Yeah.
You know, but
I'm
just glad we're done with that. But you know what? Who knows what's going to happen in another 5 years? I bet you something else hits the States, the Americas.
I'm sure.
There's going to be some other disease that springs up. They're baking one in a laboratory right now.
Oh, I'm sure.
To unleash.
They probably are. So here is what more, I guess, Edward Casey also, along with Nostradamus. Oh, that's my dog wagging his tail. Predicted that about the East Coast. It says our West Coast. America's West Coast will be destroyed, and there will be widespread destruction in Los Angeles and San Francisco, as well as many portions of the West Coast. Land will appear off the coast of America. The Great Lakes will drain into the Gulf of Mexico through the Mississippi River. Earth changes will occur in the central portion of the United States as well. There will be some safe places in the U.S. They are Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, the central and some eastern states.
That's kind of scary. The Great Lakes emptying into the Gulf of Mexico.
Yeah. Interesting, huh?
Very interesting. I think that, and a lot of this we can see is slowly shaping. I mean, everything that you've read today, everything is slowly happening already, for the most part. Not identical. And again, a lot of people say it depends on how you perceive it, I guess, right? You know, one way or the other. But it's just so weird. It's just so it's unimaginable.
It is.
A lot of these things.
Yeah.
And a lot of these things are frightening. You know.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, if the Great Lakes start draining into the Mississippi River, I'm not that far. Mississippi River is like just a few miles over, and it'd be enough that I would be flooded.
Well, you know, interesting about the Great Lakes, it's just so funny you just brought that up, because I was reading something, because I always read up on the Great Lakes, because I want to do a Great Lakes show down the road.
Yeah.
So I'm getting all my facts together. They have, if you took Lake Superior, Lake Michigan, all the Great Lakes.
Yeah.
And if they were to flood and just empty into the United States, it would cover the entire state of Michigan down through Ohio and Indiana, Chicago. There's so much water in the Great Lakes that Michigan, Indiana, Ohio, Chicago, we would all be walking in a half inch of water. That's how much water That's how much water.
In other words, I would be flooded if it starts happening.
Yeah. You know?
Yeah, I'll be flooded because literally the Mississippi is probably 2 miles from me.
If there was an earthquake in Lake Superior that created a tsunami, it would wipe out the UP and most of northern Michigan.
Wow.
It would get that deep. For sure, the Upper Peninsula would be gone.
That's crazy.
Or covered over. You know, it would be like wiped off the map, but they have to rebuild.
Right. Yeah, that's amazing, isn't it? So the next one, it says in 1939, Edgar Casey predicted the deaths of 2 presidents, saying, "You are going to have turmoil. You are going to have strife between capital and labor. You are to have a division in your own land before you have the second of the presidents that next will not live through his office, a mob rule." In April 1945, President Franklin D. Roosevelt died in office. Casey went on to say, "Unless there is more give and take consideration for those who produce with a better division of the excess profits from labor, there must be greater turmoil on the land." President John F. Kennedy was assassinated in Dallas, Texas in November 1963. So we predicted those.
I wonder if there's anything in there on Jimmy Hoffa.
I don't know. I didn't see anything about
that was predicted in his
whereabouts. I
whereabouts.
didn't see anything about any of that. Yeah, I didn't see anything about any of that.
Hello to everybody in chat that's saying hi. I'm not ignoring you. I just can't type. I can type as Krista, but hello, everybody.
This one's interesting. He also predicted the fall of communism and the collapse of the Soviet Union.
Oh, wow.
He said, "Russia comes the hope of the world, not in respect to what is sometimes termed communism. No, but freedom, that each man will live for his fellow man. The principle has been born there. It will take years for it to be crystallized, yet out of Russia comes again the hope of the world. The Soviet Union dissolved as a nation in 1991, abandoned communism, and instituted economic and political freedom." Wow. So there's that.
Well, there was a positive one.
Yeah, well, I think it's cool that he predicted that, you know?
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
So I got several here too to read. So it says, the stock market crash and the Great Depression. In 1924, Casey predicted the stock market would crash in 1929 and also taught his clients how to prepare for the crash and how to play the bull market. His clients did not pay attention to him and lost all they had when the stock market crashed. He also foresaw the Great Depression, which he said the stock market crash was a trigger for, and it would lift in the spring of 1933, and it did.
Wow. Could you imagine if you took his advice, how rich you would end up becoming?
Yeah.
But First of all, how much money you would have saved.
Would you have taken him seriously?
Back then, no.
No, I wouldn't have either.
You know, no, not at all. Hey, you know, another thing, you know, just about people that are very smart. And a lot of these people, if you look at this too, especially when it comes to the earth and the economy is cyclical, you know, and the earth. I mean, if you're into science and study science, you can make predictions. And just like my dad, when he was a young guy, he had this back when he had this financial friend that was like becoming a stockbroker and became pretty good at it. And he told my dad, "Bob, I gotta tell you, man, there's this company coming out." He goes, "I can take all your money and your life savings. I'm gonna kid you not, and buy all this stock. It's only gonna be selling for $1 a share."
Wow.
And my dad was like, now my dad said, "All my money? Are you nuts?" You know, back then, you know,
a lot of money. Yeah.
He was a young guy. Just me and my brother were babies, right?
Right.
And he always told me this story. And he goes, "Yeah." And then he says, "I kicked myself in the ass because I didn't do it." And I said, "Well, what was the name of the company?" He said, "McDonald's." You know?
Wow.
You know? And a guy told him it's going to be big one day. And we could have, and I wish I would have invested in Amazon as a kid. or Microsoft, when we had a little bit of money, would have been tons of money today.
Yeah, absolutely. Isn't that crazy how that works out?
That
like
is so
if we
weird.
just would pay attention, you know.
Another one that he told my dad was when Lee Iacocca took over Chrysler and went bankrupt. The Chrysler stock was selling for 50 cents.
Huh.
And then that took off back in the days of Lee Iacocca. So a lot of these things, I'm an if something sounds too good to be true, it's definitely not true, in my opinion. But there are certain ones that prove to be true.
Right. Absolutely.
So it always makes you have to think about that.
Yep. And he also, man, I'll tell you what, the big ones, they both predicted Adolf Hitler. Edgar Casey predicted in January 1934 that Adolf Hitler would rise in power to reign over Germany. Casey stated that imperialism is entering. Then in August 1935, he predicted Hitler would remain in power until it will come as an overthrow or an outside war. And look what happened. World War II.
You said the other, and you said the other one was Nostradamus, similar.
So they both predicted Hitler.
Yeah.
Interesting, isn't it?
And that was also, and I also read in the Bible one. I just had it up and I lost it somehow, about which I don't know if it's happened yet or not. They said that, which is more than the creepy side, that the Antichrist will make an appearance in the world.
Do you think Hitler was an Antichrist?
Who? Hitler? They've talked about him being an Antichrist, but maybe a disciple. Because I think it goes much deeper than him. If that's even
right. Yeah, that's interesting.
Even if there's someone more wicked than Hitler, well, of course there is the ultimate.
Yeah.
Nefarious, demonic devil,
right?
Lucifer, whatever your beliefs are.
Yeah. John asked.
But they're going to appear as you and I. They're going to be you or I. Human being.
Right.
Alien.
And then come to find out they're really the Antichrist. That's a scary thought, because they could be walking among us right now. We don't even know it.
I think maybe he is already.
Or she. Could be she.
Oh, he or she. In my opinion, it's probably neutered. It's probably both. It's probably not even it's probably a being of some sort, right?
Right. Yep, absolutely. John asked, did any predict aliens or Bigfoot? I didn't read anything at all about aliens or Bigfoot on any of the predictions.
Now, did they? I missed that. Did was there any?
I didn't read anything about that. Yeah. Moon at Noon says we will know when the Antichrist reigns.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll know when he reigns, but there's not to say probably could still be here already and just laying low. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. It says there is always an Antichrist ready and alive. Satan doesn't know God's timing. That's true, Smurfy.
Yeah, and H says the Antichrist will have a high charisma and a smooth talker.
Yep.
Sure.
Yeah. So that's kind of,
creepy stuff there.
Yeah.
Hang on a second.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. I got to do this sneeze again.
No, you're good. So Mr. Anderson says the Antichrist is a false god, not a human. Those people like Hitler are sort of like prophecy chosen ones, but from the evil team. That is my own thoughts, not saying it's a gospel. Yep. Something to think about, most definitely.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's so many theories and ideas, and they all make sense no matter what side of the coin you're on. I mean, we just don't know, do we?
No.
I mean, even if you read the Bible, you don't know.
Nope. Let's see here. So here's another one. It says Edward Casey also predicted the alliance between the U.S. and Russia. During the time of the Soviet Union, Edgar Casey predicted that Russia would one day be an ally of the United States. He said, for changes are coming, this may be sure, an evolution or revolution in the ideas of religious thought. The basis of it for the world will eventually come out of Russia. Not communism, no, but rather that which is the basis of the same as the Christ taught, his kind of communism. The prediction came true after the collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991. So,
Wow.
yeah. So here's the last one that I have to talk about. He actually predicted his own death. So his visions warned him that he should not use his psychic abilities more than twice a day or serious health problems would occur. Casey was rather well known and received thousands of requests. He ignored the warnings and went on with the readings. On January 1st, 1945, Edgar Casey predicted that he would be buried in 4 more days. He died of a stroke on January 3rd, 1945, and is buried in Hopkinsville, Kentucky, where he was born. Interesting, huh?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Being able to predict your own death.
That's scary. I don't want to know.
Oh no, I don't want to know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know what the date. Supposedly, we all have our dates are preset.
That's what they say.
I don't like.
I don't want to know. It's it's none of my business. When he's ready,
yeah. Hey.
You know. Yep.
I just don't like that idea that we have. If that's even true, we have a pre-date, a death date.
Mm-hmm.
Do not want to know it. I wish it didn't exist. I don't know that it does exist. I heard it does.
Mm-hmm. I've heard it does too. Yep.
That's supernatural.
Mm-hmm. BJ says there are certain royal bloodlines that the Antichrist will be born into. It has to do with the Freemason.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard of that.
So that's where we kind of get onto like the conspiracy theory.
It might be with the Freemasons. I need to investigate that a little bit. They're not all bad though. Freemasons, just because you're a Freemason does not mean you're
right.
An Antichrist or a follower. I mean, you might be. Well, you know that we're going to have which we're going to do shows on in next year, which I want to dive into the New World Order. That's going on today, as you know. That's already been planned. That's been planned 2 decades ago.
Well, that's when it comes in with the conspiracy theories. So
yep.
Yeah, we can do like that.
They started planning that in the 1940s, I believe,
or
even prior.
Yeah. Well, I was reading up on conspiracy theories too, man. There's a lot of them out there. I got to tell you, with like what you were saying, like all the way from even, Marilyn Monroe dying.
You know?
So, yeah.
There are many out there.
Yeah.
They're good topics. I mean, it's just fast. It makes you think. That's all. Like the title of the show, things may go,
Yeah. I mean,
and whether you're a believer or not,
does make me go,
It does, doesn't it? I mean, whether you're a believer or not, it's just, I'm drawn to it because I want to, I got to listen to this now. What this guy got to say about this?
Yeah.
And then you just take it with a grain of salt, or you can run with it, or you can go, well, that was interesting.
Yeah.
Like everything you kept saying, you said the word interesting today about 20 times. Yeah, it is. You're like, it's not interesting. Yeah, so it is interesting.
It's crazy. Stuff. Yeah. I'm into this stuff.
And the thing is, a lot of it has happened, which makes it wow.
Right. BJ says, I don't know the date that I will die, but I have known since I was a young child. When I do die, I will die alone. That's you know what though? I had my great grandmother. She said for years, my grandma told me that she used to say she's not gonna see 48 years old, and she died at 47.
Oh man!
Like she knew that, So
it's funny, and this isn't funny. Hey, I feel a sneeze coming out. This isn't funny, but it's. I told you the story about my grandmother passing away. So that crappy story I told you about how she took my mom. Okay. But my mom had the biggest phobia. Not really because of that, but my grandmother died at 62. And when my mom hit her 60s, she was like, all of a sudden, she started getting very depressed. Because she wondered if she was going to die when she turned 62. And she was just had all this anxiety for a couple of years over this. It was actually making her kind of sick, right? And me and my brother, like, Mom, stop it.
Yeah.
I do believe that you can, we always talk about we can, you can bring things upon yourself if you can will things to happen. I believe you can certain things.
I do too.
If you're one of these pessimists, you're there, oh my God, I'm gonna get cancer, and you dwell on it every day. Well, you know what? Hey, I believe there's something to that. And if I think
Hmm.
you just continue to think you're gonna have ill health or this, that, and the other, I think some of that matriculates down to you. So I was telling my mom this, stop with this talk rate. You're not gonna die at 62.
Yeah.
But she would get herself sick over it. And finally, on her 62nd birthday, she was alive. She made it.
Right.
And then, for whatever reason, the little hex or curse she put on herself, or not a hex or curse, but you know what I'm talking about, that little
Hmm.
mental block she put in her brain about being scared of death at 62. Finally, when she turned 63, she was perfectly fine.
Yeah.
But we can make ourselves worry, and we can manifest. You can manifest getting sick and being healthy. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
sick now. Well, I'm taking, Sudafed,
Yeah.
some cough medicine. And I see Sonny said hot tea and honey, which I got that right here. But yeah, but I think you can manifest these things just like when we talk about
Hmm.
going into the woods. If you want to see a Bigfoot or a dog man or spirit, a lot of us we can manifest a lot of this stuff. I've done it personally, as you know. Hell, you have done it yourself. If you
Yeah.
think long and hard, about certain things. I believe in that.
Hmm.
If you're so everybody out there listening, a little tip, don't be a worry wart about a lot of things because the more you put it upstairs, the more you can formulate it. I
Yeah.
believe that. I really do.
Right. I agree with you. I do too.
I'm
And
not saying it's
it's the same thing. It's
100%.
about like your intent. It's kind of like the same thing because like if it's in your head and you're thinking about it all the time, you're intending for it. You're putting it out there. You're putting it out there to the world. You know.
Yeah. And
So
if you
yeah,
put,
I get that.
you talk about the vibration, the frequency. Well, if you're cast that upon yourself every day,
Yeah.
yeah, you know what? I mean, you might, it might not happen or come true, but I guarantee you what, you're going to have a negative aura about you or a negative energy about you.
Yeah.
And you might have bad luck befall you more than the average person,
Hmm. Yeah.
you know?
Hmm. Yeah. I definitely believe that though. You know what, like you said, what you even goes for yourself. What you put out, you get back to, and that's the same thing, like you said, with even a sickness or, yeah.
Oh, wow. That's strange.
What's that?
I'm not even going to tell you. Well, always I heard a little something say, yeah, in my headphones. Always on these Blondes and Booze shows.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know what that timestamp was. It said, yeah.
Well, let's go back and look.
Yeah, right. It was in the last 60 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, okay, I'm having a brain fart. What was we talking about at that time? And it said,
We were just talking about, I was talking about you, as after you just said we put in what we put into it, what we get back, what we put
that's
into
right.
it.
Yep.
It was right after that. Something
Well,
goes
something
in my
agreed
head.
with me.
Something said, yeah. Just like that, yeah.
Something agreed with me.
Did you and Brandy ever break down that last stuff? Did you hear that ever?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Nope. That's
Well,
crazy.
yeah.
I didn't hear it, but you with headphones on did hear.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Who knows? Who knows what or who it could be?
You never know. We're
Yeah.
kind of used to it by now.
It's just a thing now, seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, if it's here, it's here, I have nothing wonky going on. So,
Yeah, as far as I know, I
have a
don't.
loved one or something. Who knows?
You never know.
No, you don't. You know what we do know, though? We have a conference in September.
Oh, yes, we do, don't we?
Yeah. I'm getting excited for that. And that's a long way off to be excited for.
10 months.
You said really that long?
Well, October.
Isn't it? Well, September.
September
9
19th and 20th.
Yeah, 9 months. Yeah. Yeah, we got a while. We have a while, but that's going to be fun. You're gonna come this way. I think the whole Texas Porch crew is going to be this way, right?
Yeah, as far as we'll all be there, me, you, Randy, Tex, Donny, Monica, Jason, Randy. As
Yeah.
far as our group goes,
Mhm.
Danielle,
Everybody.
as far as this podcasting guys, and then of
Yeah,
course we've got great speakers
we
and
do.
some special guests who'll be making an appearance.
We do.
And we got the celebrity ghost hunts, which is already half sold out. I heard
It is.
Pancho will be there.
Yep. It'd be good to see you again,
Keith,
Pancho.
Keith will be there. I think he's in the chat. Yep, yeah, there he is.
Mickey will be there.
Mickey will be there.
Ghost hunts this morning from Brandon.
Yeah, we put the tickets on sale December 1st, man. We've already, and today's the 6th, and we've already got, thanks, Mark. And we've got, we've sold a handful of tickets already. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah. Yep. It's going to be a fun one. I'm really looking forward to it, honestly.
Let me put up the banner here.
Yeah, you can put up the banner. And I'll tell the speakers here. So we have Josh Hurd. You guys have probably seen him on our show. I know he's been on Paranormal Paul's show. He is just a great guy, a very good friend of ours. And he's done a lot of TV stuff. He does stuff with Nick Roth from the old, when he used to be part of Ghost Adventures. He is no longer part of Ghost Adventures, but so he's a great guy, and he's a great speaker, and he's just so much fun to be around. Heather Mosier, you guys have all seen her. She's been, I think, on all of our shows, and tomorrow night she'll be on Paranormal Paul's show, Small Town Monsters. She's a producer for them. She's also big into history and looking at, she's very knowledgeable. She knows her stuff when she's
very sweet, very smart. Yep. And if you guys have followed Small Town Monsters of late, all the documentaries, she's up listed as a producer. I mean, like head producer now over there. So she's getting pretty big over there.
Yeah, she's awesome. Great gal. William Lunsford, that's another one that's been on all of our shows. And, you can't, you'll never meet a nicer guy than William Lunsford. And I truly mean that when I say that.
Oh, God. Yeah. Well, I never met him in person yet. We always talk about it. He's been on my show a handful of times. Yeah. Great guy. And yes, he's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Yep. He is.
Also, your guest last night will be with us. Did you already say him?
Not yet. Nope. Ron Murphy. Yeah. He you can't get any better than Ron either, No. So knowledgeable on so many different levels. And he is going to talk with Anne Celine. She'll be here. And she's great. She's also been on the shows. She's a wealth of information as well. And so I'm looking forward to seeing her again. It's been a little while, and she'll be here. Haunted Souls, they are friends of ours, and they do conferences and stuff like that. But they also buy haunted cars and fix them up. So they're going to be bringing a haunted car. So that's going to be really cool. I'm excited for that.
Are they the same as the Haunted Garage?
Mm-hmm. Same guys. Yep. With a couple extra people on the Haunted Garage side.
Yeah.
Yep. And then Greg Ogles. We all know Greg Ogles. He's been on all of our shows multiple times. He helped tonight with us too. So it's going to be a blast. And then a special guest, we have, let me look here. We have Ken Gerhard, which, we kind of got lucky with Ken coming. Anne is speaking, and Ken and Anne are a couple. So Ken is bringing Anne here to the conference, and we told him we would give him a table. So he has graciously agreed to bring Anne and get a table. So that'll be awesome.
Yep.
Dana Stricker is another one. She's been on our show many times. She's a psychic medium. She also is a UFO experiencer. So she'll be there. She sits at her table. She does a lot of conferences, and she sits at her table and she does readings. So if anybody's wanting just a one-on-one reading, she's great. She's very good. She does a lot of the health type readings too. Like if you're might be low in iron or something,
Okay.
Yeah. So, and she's really good with that too. Like she might tell you you're low in iron, you go to your doctor, and sure enough, you're low in iron, or, so anyway, so she's going to be there. And then Brent Thomas,
Paranormal.
Yeah. So driving 22 hours.
From Idaho. You guys all know Brent.
Yes.
Paranormal Portal on YouTube. In fact,
Yes.
he's been sitting in with me in text Thursday afternoons, doing our shows, which has been pretty fun. He's a nice guy. Another great guy.
Right. Yep. So, there's several.
Did you mention Dr. Dean?
Dr. Dean Bertram is another one. I believe he's going to be talking like UFOs, aliens, and things like that. So that's going to be awesome. And I think I got through all of the speakers. Let me look at my list because I got to bring a list up whenever I do it.
Johnny Hauser, he's not on the list now.
Johnny Hauser is not on the list right now. His mother died recently, so he was going to do it on the old date we were going to have.
Okay.
I just haven't reached out to him yet.
I scratched him off just for now.
Yeah, so I will reach back out to him. I just gotta, I don't want to bother him with his mom passing and stuff.
Oh, Chris Jordan will be doing interviews, right?
Christopher Jordan, yep, he's going to be our featured podcaster too, and he is going to be our tech guy. He's the man with the knowledge, right? And then Tex is going to MC for us.
Yeah.
So it's going to be good. And then so Friday night though we have the meet and greet. So we're going to just have pizza and soda and everybody come and hang out and have dinner with us and just sit around and talk and kind of get to know each other. So that'll be fun. And then Saturday evening is the ghost hunt at the Ray County Museum. So, and every speaker literally has told me, every speaker and special guest, I should say, has told me that they are hunting the museum. So those of you who have gotten the ghost hunt ticket, so everybody that we've just named are doing the ghost hunt too. So.
Yeah, that should be a lot of fun.
Which is why we did not sell a whole bunch of what we normally do for ghost hunt tickets. We did not sell them because we knew there's going to be extra people. And usually whenever we do these events, these conferences, we'll get like maybe 3 or 4 of the speakers that will do the ghost hunt, not all of them. And this is really cool. That's what I think is really cool. All of them. So.
I think it should be fun. Mm-hmm. I'm looking forward to the whole thing. There's a lot of things to do for everybody.
Yeah.
And it's, not just, it's like paranormal, UFOs, cryptids. So whatever you like. Mm-hmm. Most people like all 3, right?
Yeah.
The ghost hunt and chill out with us, I think Friday, right? I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
If you want. And
come chill out with us on Friday night. Absolutely. And
throughout the day Saturday, because we'll all be there. Not speaking, so we'll be floating around, talking. Me and you will be talking with people.
Yeah, exactly. So,
it'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is, and we've got spots open if anybody's interested in being a vendor. We do have some spots available, and we don't care. We're not picky. If you sell Bigfoot or homemade jewelry or even Avon, we don't care. Come on.
Yeah. If you have a, if you sell products, which is, you can bring it with you. Yeah, that's great. Help you out. Helps out because a lot of, it's nice too that, part of our proceeds, if I'm not correct or wrong, Krista, will give it back to the community.
Yep.
Right.
To the museum. Yep. Yeah. So it's there's also going to be a silent auction too that, benefits the Ray County Museum also. So, and like I said, they really could use the money. It's just, you know, COVID really, really put a damper on the museum. So if it wasn't for the ghost hunts, and Kathy said this many times, if it wasn't for the ghost hunts, then the museum would have had to close down.
Yeah.
So when COVID hit, it just, everything had to close. They were non-essential, so she had to close, so they weren't bringing in any money, So it's just, it's crazy. Real quick, there's one here. So a little twisted, you're welcome to reach out to myself or BMR. We would love to hear and see your research. If you want to come on one of our shows, absolutely. We could, we'd love to have you. And same thing, Riley, Ron, reach out to us.
Yeah, well, Ron's got a lot of cool stuff. In fact, Ron always sends me emails. He's got a lot of fascinating accounts. I have to get with him and talk to him actually in person on the phone, Ron, or something. And no, Mark, I can't tell a story tonight, man, because I'm just under the weather. My throat is scratchy. My eyes are burning.
Yeah, we're going to.
Yeah, our emails are open, you guys. If you have encounters of Little Twisted, I like that name, so I'm sure whatever Twisted, you're more than welcome to send us an email. Again, we don't judge anybody. I put out some stories out there that, hey, whatever. If you got a story, I'll definitely listen to it,
For sure. We all will, absolutely.
Yeah, we all will, correct. Not just me.
Yep. And Pancho says December 17th, he'll be on I Have a Jupiter show with Tom Franklin. Oh, that's cool. With his
excellent Pancho.
Encounter. Yep, very cool. And then Lil Patty says Richmond is a very small town. Where the conference is, it is a very small town. She is absolutely correct. I think she lives I think she's close to there, Higginsville, if I remember right. So little Patty, you at least got to come up and say hi to us and see us.
Yes, Patty.
Sure.
Come on in.
Yeah.
Nice, quaint little town.
Yeah. Yep, exactly. And Riley, he says, I hate writing emails. I can talk instead of mails. You know what? Email us a phone number and we can send you our numbers and we can chit chat.
Yeah, Ron, you know that. I hate writing emails too. That's why I'm late to getting back to everybody on the emails. Pancho, by the way, I just sent you an email back the other day. Yeah, thanks, Mark. Go Lions. Yes, they did win. Thank you, Mark, for that.
Pancho also says Google warm salt water, AM and PM might help you.
Okay, thanks, buddy.
Yeah. And thank you again, Mark. Appreciate that. So, and then Bristol says, Rob, Irish whiskey, put a shot in your tea just before bed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And P. Jean 63 says, I have to look and see where Richmond is. I don't know. Richmond is actually, it's about 45 minutes east of Kansas City. Northeast. I would say northeast of Kansas City. So it's on that side over there. Anyway, this has been interesting. It's been kind of fun. I like talking about this kind of weird stuff.
No, I liked it,
Yeah, and that's a topic Brandy and I haven't done yet. So this was a new one.
No, I like to break it down a little more. Like my mind was kind of fluttering a little bit with this. Every 2 minutes I had to go behind camera and blow my nose. But yeah, I like it. It's very interesting, as you said, because I just find it fascinating that people actually predicted a lot of these events.
Right.
And it's kind of scary because it makes you wonder about these events that are totally scary. I mean, like end of days type stuff. That I'd rather not know about. Yeah. But it's going to probably happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. Hopefully not during our lifetime.
Yeah. So anyway, we appreciate everybody tuning in.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Rob, for filling in for Brandy. You're a trooper. If you're not feeling well, I definitely appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
Oh, anyway, we'll see everybody tomorrow on Paranormal Paul's show and Donny Cho Says Stuff. And then BMR, you got a late show tomorrow night with Monica and Brandy. So
Monica and Brandy, you won't be there, right? You're gone. I know what you got going on. Yeah. Yep. Yes, I'll be sleeping all day to get up by midnight for that one.
Yeah, there you go. So anyway, we will see everybody tomorrow, and you guys all have a good weekend. Good night.
All right. Good night.
Good night.